Forget Canelo versus Crawford. Let's talk about Boots Ennis and Terence Crawford. That just became the biggest and most dangerous fight in the sport of boxing for both guys. I feel like you got two southpaws, Crawford and Boots, two guys that are so talented, two guys that are so competitive, two guys that are very experienced. You know, you could say that Boots isn't, but if you look at it, Boots has fought guys that, you know, have moved a lot. He's fought some boxers and he's fought some guys that could slug a little bit, but he's taken out every guy. And then, you know, obviously we got Terence Crawford as well. You know, like I said, both guys are very talented. They switch stances, so that would be such an exciting fight. I feel like Boots Ennis and Terence Crawford, that's the fight that real boxing fans really want to see. After seeing Boots Ennis dismantle Stanionis the way that he did, I feel like for me, Boots and Terence Crawford just became the most deadly fight in the sport of boxing. Somebody would definitely go to sleep, get punished, or be forced to quit in that fight, as opposed to any other fight out there. I feel like that's a really exciting fight. Very high level, but at the same time, very dangerous for both fighters. You got a young lion against a well-seasoned veteran in the game who, you know, is at the top of his game, probably has the most knowledge he's ever had in his career. And you have a guy that's hungry like Boots and also has the goods. He has the ability to switch. He's flowy. He's not awkward. You know what I mean? He gets into his rhythm. Against Stanionis, we saw him get into a groove real quick. Basically won every single round. Stanionis had his best round in the 5th round. Still wasn't enough to win the round in my opinion. Boots went on after Stanionis' best round, went in the 6th round, beat the hell out of Stanionis, and then ultimately forced Stanionis to quit. And that was just really impressive to me, because this is some guy that I feel like would have provided more resistance than any of Boots' past opponents. You know, I'm not here to say that Stanionis is like a guy like Madrimov or Terence Crawford, but I mean, if you look at the fight, you look at the styles, and you compare them, you see flashes of creativity. You know, neither guy is a very orthodox fighter. I mean, both fighters have the ability to switch, like I keep saying, and I feel like that's what makes the fight so creative. You know, a lot of people like to say that Terence Crawford is going to get hit too much against Boots, and Boots is going to get hit too much by Terence Crawford, but like, why don't we just find out? You know, they should really line that fight up. And I understand, because Boots is he's a bad boy, you know, at the end of the day. Boots is bad, bro. He's like, I don't understand why people even think that Crawford needs to fight Boots, but I also understand, like, man, would that be a good fight to see? You know, I'm not very optimistic that the fight goes down, but I also feel like, you know, for Terence Crawford, that might be the most exciting fight in the world. I'm not too sure that Canelo and Crawford is going to be the exciting fight that people are making it out to be. I feel like Terence Crawford and Canelo is going to be more of like a PR event for the sport of boxing, and for both Canelo and Terence Crawford, this is an opportunity for them to make a great payday. Like Canelo always says, this is a payday. You know what I mean? So I feel like Canelo and Crawford, I'm going to watch it. Don't get me wrong. You know, I'll be excited to cover it and analyze the fight like I've already been doing. But obviously it'll get more exciting closer to the fight, and it gets a little bit more real. But real fans know that Crawford and Boots is such an intriguing matchup stylistically, because they both switch. Both guys are, you know, strong punchers. They both have creativity in that ring. They're both flowy. You know, Boots is probably the more showboaty kind of fighter, but you got a guy like Terence Crawford who's very physically strong, very intense, and probably the most competitive boxer in the sport right now. This guy wants to fight you. He doesn't really want to box you. He wants to beat you down. And not to say that Boots doesn't, but Boots has a lot of, you know, talent, and it's clear to see his arsenal is great, you know, but both guys don't have the best defense in the world, and that's a fact. But that makes for a really exciting fight. You know, I feel like that fight between Crawford and Boots, if it were to happen, and I really hope it does, potentially after that Canelo fight, I feel like that's the biggest and most exciting fight, the most brutal fight. That's one for the ages. We gotta hope it happens. I know that, you know, Terence Crawford doesn't need to fight Boots, but I feel like if he wants that warrior fight that, you know, Spence and Crawford was supposed to be, I don't think he's going to get it from a Canelo fight. I think he's going to get it from Boots. That's in my opinion. I think Canelo and Crawford is a great event. It's going to be exciting for the sport of boxing, but it's like, in a way, it's McGregor and Floyd, because, you know, Crawford's not in Canelo's weight class. Yeah, he can get up there, but Crawford and in Boots, that's really like the opportunity for boxing fans to really get a warrior-like fight, to see blood, you know, and see somebody quit. That's Boots, Ennis, and Crawford. So that's the fight I really want to see. But let me know down below what you guys think, who you guys got, Crawford and Boots. I think it's a 50-50 fight. You got youth versus experience, and I feel like Crawford's on top of his game right now, and so is Boots. So I'd love to see it. But let me know down below what you guys think. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next Navs Boxing video. Peace.